Welcome into NFL Daily. I am your host today, Tom Downey, with some trade rumors out there around the NFL. With less than a month until the NFL draft, there are still some rather notable players available via trade. So we begin today with Jimmy Garoppolo, the latest on the soon-to-be former Niners starting QB. Come on, this is Trey Lance's job. We all know that. The Niners, obviously, have yet to trade away Jimmy Garoppolo, despite many people's, including myself, thinking he would be dealt before free agency began. Now, where things sit right now is publicly, the Niners say, we could keep Jimmy G on the roster. We could hold on to him throughout the season. We could have him be our backup. The reality is there's no chance they pay Jimmy G upwards of $25 million to be a backup QB. However, that is all the leverage that the Niners have. There is nothing else they could say to help the hope of getting a trade piece back, as opposed to simply cutting their former starting QB. Now, I will make note, I think the shoulder surgery and the timing of it for Jimmy Garoppolo did negatively impact trade hopes for San Francisco. John Lynch had said, we had an offer of 2 seconds. I don't believe that. I think that was a lie, and if it was true, they messed up by not accepting it when they had the opportunity. Now they're sitting with a big-time asset contract-wise who's not worth all that much, and things getting a bit light in terms of the possible destinations for a QB unless somebody else gets hurt. Now, Garoppolo is a good starting QB. Is he an actual franchise at this point in his NFL career? No. Was he one of the 32 best QBs out there? You're damn right he is. Now, part of those QBs better than include guys like Carson Wentz. The Commanders should have traded for Jimmy G. They instead went after Carson Wentz for reasons. And the market went from being pretty open amid uncertainty of, what happens with Deshaun Watson, what happens with Russell Wilson. Those guys got dealt quickly for big packages, and the market is now thinner. As we'll get into later on in today's video, as it relates to Baker Mayfield, there aren't that many prime QB starting destinations at the contracts for a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. So in reality, there are 3 options for San Francisco, and I thought one of them would have already gone down. What do you think ends up happening with Jimmy G? Type T for the Niners are able to trade him for something. Type K for they keep him into the season and let him be the backup or starter, strangely, over Trey Lance. Or C for they just take the cap savings and move on. This is the pinned comments on today's video. So if you're watching on YouTube and that ad break comes, take advantage of it. Head down there, type T for trade, K for keep, or C or cut. Let's go to the other big-name QB still available on the trade market. That is Baker Mayfield. Now, Mayfield's trade market has not been good, and I think a bit worse than what the Browns were hoping for. Again, the Browns are saying similar things to an extent that the Niners are saying. Well, we could keep Baker Mayfield. We've got him under contract. He could be our backup in case Deshaun Watson does get suspended, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Well, it's a bit more feasible for Baker because his base salary is fully guaranteed, and nobody wants to pay Baker $19 million. There would be tons of interest in Baker Mayfield at even $5 million. At almost $19, not so much. And that is because Baker, who down the stretch, the final half or so of the season of 2020, he looked like an actual top 10 QB. That is how good Baker Mayfield played. But now it seems like, maybe that was just a flash in the pan. That was a mirage for the former number 1 overall pick because he was bad amid injuries, of course, during the 2021 campaign. And that has brought down his value. In the end, the contract is an issue for any team that has interest in adding Baker Mayfield. And for the Browns being able to trade Baker. No one wants to pay him $18 million. Jimmy G makes a lot of money. And no one wants to pay him that level, I don't think, at this point. But there are 2 fits that I think make sense for each team, or for each player. 1 fit for each of them, 2 total. I'll list 5 teams in the QB market. Some of these teams probably more draft-focused, like Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and Detroit, who have added or have kind of stopgap options. Seattle needs a QB. Drew Lock ain't it. But would the Niners trade him to Seattle? I don't think so. So maybe that is Baker Mayfield's inevitable destination. The Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold is not it. Stop trying to make Sam Darnold happen. He's not good at football. He's not a good starting QB. I'm sorry. It is the facts at this point. Baker and Carolina apparently don't view each other as a match. Jimmy Garoppolo might be enough to help Matt Rule save his job. However, but Carolina's light in draft capital, Seattle a bit light in cap space. So there are issues with all of these potential moves. So if you're a team in the market, whether it's these five or somebody else, for a QB, who would you trade for? Type BM for Baker Mayfield or JG for Jimmy Garoppolo. Let me know which QB you would rather go out and acquire. The NFL draft is less than a month away. Hope you guys are ready to roll for all the draft picks coming this year. They also have announced the NFL has the hats for this year's 2022 draft class. It's the ones you see on screen, and you can get them as well at chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. I'll put that link in both the comment section and in the description. Got all 32 teams. Some of the hats are great. Some of them, maybe not so much. But go check out your favorite team's hat. That link, by the way, will be in the comment section and in the description. It's chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. We've now reached the Giants portion, ironically enough, of today's NFL trade rumors video. James Bradberry, who the Giants kept on the roster past a small-ish, couple million, I believe, base salary roster bonus that was due. Not base salary, just roster bonus that was due, guaranteed figure, in the hopes of trading him. Well, the Chiefs, per Aaron Wilson of Pro Football Network, are interested in a trade. The alleged conversations back and forth ranges from, maybe a day 3 pick late, maybe a pick swap on day 3. As the Giants want to shed some salary, get players they think fits their scheme, I'll say this. Bradberry's better than almost all of the corners who were available this year in NFL free agency. Now, this past year for Bradberry, 61.7% completion rate. Not that different than 2020. I'll also make note that the receptions and targets went up, more volume his way. Similar interception pass breakout numbers. The difference is that when Bradberry got beat, it was bad. His touchdowns doubled, and his yards went up significantly. Still, if you're a team like the Chiefs, we know that Bradberry's better than DeAndre Baker. Rashad Fenton, L'Jarius Sneed are nice pieces, but those guys are probably better suited to be like a CB2 or a 3. I think if Baker's your 4, you feel good. You trade for James Bradberry using some of that salary cap space that the Chiefs saved by moving on from Tyreek Hill. That makes life easier for them. That's a good idea for the organization to at least explore, since corner is one of their biggest needs. So I want you guys now to head down to the comments section and let me know. What player do you think ends up getting traded? Any player, any team, could be a guy you want or a guy you don't want on your organization. Let me know in the comments section right now. Let's talk Saquon Barkley now, as the Giants GM Joe Schoen made some comments at the Combine about him being willing to listen to offers for any and all players, like competent GMs do. And that got taken out, he says, about focused only on Saquon Barkley, which, partially true, I actually think. I think the Giants would love to trade Saquon Barkley. He's not going to be a long-term piece for them, I don't believe. And he's got a $7.22 million fully guaranteed base salary. I don't know how much interest there really is in Saquon right now. Yeah, seriously. Here's what Joe Schoen said on a potential Saquon trade in his comments at the Combine. That was taken a little bit out of context at the Combine. I have not called one team on Saquon Barkley. Everybody ran with that from the Combine. I said I would listen if people called on players. I would be irresponsible if I didn't. That doesn't mean I'm going to do every deal. Now, look, Shane's right. This is the right way to handle yourself as an NFL GM, especially when you're taking over a team that needs rebuilding. Listen to anyone. Every player's on the table within reason, of course. There's really not many on the Giants roster that I'd say, no. I would never, ever, ever, ever trade them. Maybe Andrew Thomas, and that's kind of like it, really, for that roster. Not even Kadarius Toney, I think, would be off limits. So I would not be surprised, and I think teams have called on Saquon Barkley. I don't know what the offers have been. Clearly not enough, if there have been any, for the Giants to move on from their former number 2 overall pick. So what do you guys think? Will the Giants trade Saquon Barkley? Type in Y for yes, or you can type in N for no in the comments section. Now, Saquon's salary is an issue. Make no mistake about that, as is his production, namely the past 2 years. That's bad, guys. Even 2019 was okay. 2018 was by far his best year. These are the pitfalls of drafting a running back early. In the end, for Saquon and his trade value, the salary's an issue. And I think if you're going to make a day 3 pick for Saquon, probably just keep him. See what he can do next year. Because if he balls out, great. Extend him, keep him on your roster. If he doesn't, okay, you move on. And if you don't want to pay him, well, then you get a comp pick for him, hypothetically. So I don't think Saquon gets dealt, but he is one of the bigger names who could be moved either before, during, or after the NFL draft.